The Acid Lab business released a little over a week ago, and so far it's been receiving some mixed reviews from the community, and honestly I have no idea why. It's comparatively cheap to set up, is completely solo player friendly, and now makes some of the best passive money in the entire game. In this video I'll be taking you through the entire process from start to finish, and showing you the best methods for making stacks of cash as fast as possible. To get things kicked off, you'll need to wait for a call from Ron, who will contact you shortly after loading into the game, where you'll then be instructed to go to this point on the map. This will start a series of 6 missions that must be completed before getting access to everything you need for the Acid Lab. At this stage there's no option for buying it outright like you can with the other businesses, so just work your way through the missions, and if you get stuck with them or anything else to do with the setup, be sure to check out my dedicated guide linked below. Once that's all done, you'll finally get the option for purchasing the new business from this guy inside the Freak Shop. It'll cost you 750k for the base operation, and then a further 250k for the equipment upgrade. This will increase the speed of production, reduce the use of supplies, and increase the value of the product that we're going to be selling. The only problem with that is, you can't buy the upgrade straight away, and instead have to complete 10 of Dax's free roam missions before you'll even be given the chance. They can be started by calling Dax and hitting the request work feature, where one of a few possible mission variants will then load up for you to endure. Some of them can be quite difficult and they only pay out 50k for your troubles. 1 or 2 of the missions are pretty fun and kind of worth the effort, but other than that they are a bit annoying and in my opinion are only a good option if they're on a double money bonus or something like that. The story missions you did at the start can also be replayed by visiting the yellow circle located at the D on your map outside the Freak Shop, but without the one-time bonuses you get on the first run, the payouts are terrible and not really worth the time investment. As a result of that, the only real money to be made from the DLC lies inside the brigade that you got during the missions. Fortunately for us, that money is pretty damn decent, and has quickly become one of my favourite sources of solo passive income. Much like the biker businesses, to keep that money rolling in will require you to keep the Acid Lab stocked with supplies, which will then be passively turned into product over a period of time while you're actively playing the game. As you can see here, the perks of the equipment upgrade are far too big to ignore. Rockstar have really gone out of their way to essentially force you down the path of unlocking it. Without the upgrade, your product will be inferior by comparison, and the bought supplies used to make it will be drained at a much faster rate, resulting in a measly profit margin of 7.6k per real life hour. However, on the upgraded side of things, your supply cost will be a lot lower, and you'll get a full rack of product 2 hours faster, leaving you with a much more respectable 60k per hour. But if you're not content with that, you can further increase the production efficiency by visiting this little bench inside the Acid Lab, where once every real life day, you'll be given the option to boost the speed of your manufacturing. It only takes a few seconds, and by doing so you'll reduce the time it takes to max out your product. Instead of 4 hours, it will now only take 3 hours, which will bump up your profit margin to almost $80,000 per hour. That's an increase of over 33%, and something you're seriously going to want to work into your regular routine if you plan on getting the best returns possible from your new business. When you compare it to other passive income options, it's now coming out on top, trouncing just about everything in its path. The only thing not represented here is the Nightclub warehouse, mainly because you need multiple other businesses to earn money from it, but as a singular operation, the Acid Lab is pretty much unbeatable at this point. To start making money, you of course need the supplies I was talking about earlier, and to get those you actually have a couple of options. One of them is by speaking to Mutt directly inside the business itself. The other simply requires you to pull out your phone and give him a call, where you can check your current supply level and product value, along with an option to both buy supplies like we did before and source supplies, which gives you the ability to feed your business without having to pay for the required materials. And while it might sound tempting to build up product without having to spend any money, it's really not worth it, and I'll explain why. Much like the MC supply runs, most of them take a very long time and don't yield much at the end of each mission. It's far more financially efficient to buy the supplies and then spend the time you save sourcing them on literally any other money-making venture in the game. One payphone hit that takes 5 minutes will pay for an entire round of supplies and then some. Hell, even VIP missions can earn the necessary 60k a lot faster than doing it this way. At the end, or at any point for that matter, you can request the acid lab to be delivered to your nearest possible spawn point, and that is a nice little time save, especially if you need to deliver the supplies back to the business, but it's not going to make the missions any more worth it. I mean, I don't mind running through this sort of content once or twice when it first releases, but with so many ways to earn money, it simply makes more sense to buy the supplies instead, especially when you consider you'll only get a bit over a bar for every mission you complete. Now before we get on to selling the product, there's just one thing you need to consider, and that is the public lobby bonus. Much like other businesses, the Acid Lab gives you the option of earning extra money for your sales if you don't mind risking it being blown up in public sessions. For every player in the lobby, you'll earn an additional 2% up to a maximum of 50%, and that means you can potentially get paid an extra 170k for every sale you make. Personally, I don't think the risk is worth it unless you can trust the people in your session, but for all of that, there is some tasty profits to be made for anyone who wants to take a chance. Either way, once you're ready, you'll want to activate your organisation or motorcycle club and come over to the right hand corner of the truck where you can start up a sale mission. There's currently a double money bonus in effect, so your product value will likely be a bit lower than mine, but everything else is the same, so let's get into it. The best thing about the sale missions is regardless of which one you get, it can easily be completed when playing solo. Gone are the days of multiple vehicles like you get with the MC businesses, and as long as you're playing by yourself, you'll only ever have to deliver one, even if your product is completely full, and you'll only get more than that if you've got other people in your organisation. Some of the mission variants are easier than others, but they all come with their difficulties. Whether it be hippies or the police, you'll likely get ambushed when delivering your product, but as long as you load up on snacks and armour beforehand and keep a keen eye on your surrounds, you should easily be able to stay one step ahead of them regardless of what the threat is. Overall, I've got to say I'm pretty happy with the new business. While a lot of the mechanics aren't exactly new, I do feel they've improved on it compared to the MC stuff that it's based on. It's a lot more solo friendly, the sale missions are faster, and the profit margins are top notch, especially if you happen to catch a double money bonus like there is this week. If you're still in the early stages and need help with the setup of the Acid Lab, or if you're looking for some other quality money guides, then be sure to check out a selection of my videos, both down in the description and attached to the upcoming end screen. If you found this one useful though, you can help it to be seen by more people by tapping the thumbs up button down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to consider subscribing as well. I cover all things GTA Online, and we've got plenty more DLC content on the way. Until we meet again, you bunch of legends, I am Red Nitrate, and I'll catch you on the next one.